Hi, today it is Monday, the 17th of May 2021, and I'm making this video on the 11th day of the yellow seed wave spell. So, quite a way in before I felt to make this. It's been a really powerful time, and the last video that I made, I think it sort of spoke for itself around the beginning of Yellow Seed. It was all about elimination because we're in spectral moon, and so we're looking at what is seeking to be released. What is cognitive dissonance, for example? What is no longer serving us? What is ready to go because of this journey that we began on the 26th of July last year? We're now in the 11th moon of seeing where we're not authentic, where we're not being the beacon of light, where we're not being loving and respectful to ourselves in whatever way. That's what is really evident now. So today we are in White Spectral Wizard. There we are. And as you can see, we are on a black portal day. So we've been through all of this in the previous days, in the previous 11 days. We've got one more portal to go tomorrow, one more akashic record to go. And then when we finish this 13-day cycle, we go into the yellow, we go into the manifestation of what has come before since the 15th of December last year. So we go into Red Earth, 52-day process. And I'll be doing a separate video on that tomorrow. But today, back to today, we have got the Sun in Taurus, and we're in the last few days of that Taurus Sun now, which makes me feel sad because I love Taurus Sun energy, absolutely love it in the UK. It's just a lovely time of the year where everything's blooming and blossoming and coming out. When we go into Red Earth, we'll be going into Gemini, so I'll be going into a whole different energy to jettison what we have seen manifest here in this Taurus energy. But back to today, we have an Akashic record day that is linked in to this 13-year cycle that we began on the 26th of July in 2019. So just to reiterate the cycles, because it is complex with all the different Mayan calendars. So we have the start of the new year every year is the 26th of July. This is when the 13 moon calendar begins as well. So each moon has 28 days, and that began and was initiated back then. So what we're seeing now is what we've been going through around, in just simple terms, being authentic, being the beacon of light, being our true self. What has been unveiled, uncovered for us at this very challenging time, transformational time on planet Earth. So whatever you were initiating back in Leo time, you are now seeing what needs to go so you can be the real show of you, as in your star seed, which is what yellow seed is all about. 2019 was the start of the Mayan New Year, 26th of July, and also part of a 13-year cycle, the initiation of that energy. And what is White Wizard all about? White Wizard is the 14th Mayan sign. It's about Ixchel, the moon goddess, and so it's a bit of a misnomer, really, being White Wizard, because this is about midwifery, it's about return to balance of the sacred feminine. It's a planetary cycle. The planetary cycles are red moon, which is about awakening to authenticity and being the beacon of light. And the planet is Mercury, so getting in touch with our higher self by rewiring our conditioned mindset and getting clear of the old story. Then we have the refinement of that cycle of red moon. So the cycle of red moon on the planet was 13 years, and it began in 2006 until 2018. Key things that happened in 2018 were, astrologically, we had Chiron went into Aries, and we had Uranus go into Taurus. So Chiron is our wounded story, our personality construct, if you like, around who we've grown to believe is me, I. Of course, most of that story around that personality construct was created when we were children, and so formed by other people for the human being who is here to do the healing story, is here to do the transformation story, is here to do the Red Skywalker story, realizes that they have the power to change who they are, their identity, their sense of self. And the priority for doing this is through healing the journey so far, healing the childhood story, so that we can be authentic and can be the beacon of light. I work with a lot of women, and one of the key themes for women is being able to break out of being people pleasers, for example, having the courage to start to come into their power, be confident, to start to create a shift in the world by creating a shift in ourselves. That's the starting point. It isn't outside of us, it's inside. So if you think back to 2006 and the 13 years that was happening then for you, what revelations were you experiencing? What was going on in your family? That could have been quite a challenging time where old storylines were coming to an end. Something may have happened in your family, that type of thing. Something may have happened that may have seemed really, really challenging at the time. But when you look back at it now, you realise that that had to happen so that you were going to break free of that cocoon and start doing something else. This is what all of these storylines are experiencing now. It's time for us to do something else. We can't keep hold of the old story and create the new, because they just don't go together. So back in 2019, we had this commencement of the moon goddess, and the moon goddess Ixchel energy is really about allowing the magic to flow through us rather than believing that we have to create it. So again, one of the biggest shadow stories that we have is around that we're not good enough, that we have to use somebody else, we have to do X, Y, Z, get an app, get a this, get a that, you know, to do this 3D story. And buying our stairway to heaven, using very masculine formats, for example, traditional ways of building a business, all of that sort of thing, which is not in alignment with new things coming in. This is why it's so essential to heal, change mindset, align with new conscious awareness through becoming consciously aware of ourselves as a priority. Uranus in Taurus, again back in 2018, at that time was showing us what do we value, what do we love, what do we have stability around as well? What do we have stability around? What is coming in for us in the future that's going to be built on a solid foundation and not a house of cards? So the more that we keep trying to create things, which this Taurus energy is all about, that we keep trying to manifest things with an old mindset, we keep wanting something new, but we're still working with old frameworks and old belief systems because we haven't healed our heart and we haven't really got into what has disempowered us and healed that. Then the lessons keep showing up with that same storyline around bigger and bigger emotional experiences. Taurus energy is goddess energy, it's Isis energy, it is what it is, it's practical, it's grounded. And when we come into this energy at this time of year, we are seeing what is manifest for us based on what did we put into conscious intent back in Scorpio time, back at the time of the ancestors, and the veil is thin, Halloween, that time. So all our disempowerment issues are going to come up for us to work with. So it's just having that awareness, and being in a reality check, getting out of denial. Now, look where we are on planet Earth right now. Look what's happening to us right now around what is manifest, because people haven't faced their narcissistic patterning, their narcissistic relationship. Again, that's not a judgment statement, it's not a blame, it's just how it is. We've been going through this for thousands of years. We've been going through the slavery pattern. We have been experiencing this in all different levels. And a lot of this energy has been building up very quickly over the past couple of 100 years. So, this energy is building, and it's all consolidating. So it's happening faster and faster now in alignment with the astrology. And so new patterns coming in, new ways of being coming in. And this week especially is supercharged for that, as we're at the last degrees of this Taurus Sun. You can see, okay, so what have I created? How empowered have I been? What's here? What's manifest right now that I have created in my life? Maybe I've created that unconsciously because I haven't really thought about it deeply in the past. Maybe I haven't had time. I haven't made time. Maybe I'm still stuck in something out of fear, out of survival. Maybe I think it's survival. Recognize that the universe is now amping this energy up to say, is this how you want to live for the next 30 years, for the rest of your life? Saturn in Aquarius is really key at the moment because it's at 13 degrees. So this is the goddess energy. This is the power of the number 13, and it's the power of the 13 moons. It's the power of the Mayan calendar, which is taking us into that 13-step process shift. So today, if you reflect back over the past 11 days in particular, and what I want to offer you is, you can always bring it into a micro. So part of your conditioned mindset might be that you have to think into a bigger picture of your whole life, all of your lives, your past lives, your ancestral patterning, all of which is really useful information. And you can actually bring that into a snapshot of today. With the Mayan code, you can code your unique code. And once you've done 52 days, you can see this more and more of how this process works. Once you've done 52 years on the planet, you have all the code to work with because you've already done it. So now you can really start to look at where you've been, what you've done, and you can start to change your present by changing your past and change your future. Over the past 11 days, we've had 11 amazing, powerful days of transformation available to us in the Blue Castle. We've had all this akashic record, and if you have access to your personal coding, which is available through the Mayan calendar, then you can see how your life is repeating these patterns now from when you were a child, and what lessons you have to learn, and how you can start to take action primarily around healing those original times, so that you start to clear your amygdala, you start to get clear on the inside, and so the outside changes. And this is the power of using these tools and frameworks that have been gifted to us by us. I offer you that in past lifetimes for this very occasion of making this huge shift. So today we've got waxing moon in Leo, and it's just gone in just as I've started making this. So we're actually at 0 degrees right now, and we're going to be having some big 0 degree energy on Friday, just as we go into the new moon, the new 13-day cycle, the new 52-day cycle of red earth. We had the new moon on the 11th, and so we're working with this waxing moon energy now of manifestation really powerfully. So I'm going to read you Leo at 1 degree. Which we're not quite there yet, but this is very relevant, as it always is. So again, this is what I love about learning about code and learning how this amazing magical mystery school works that we are living in. A divorced husband and wife enjoying each other's company. The little ego desires what it does not desire, needs what it does not need. It goes after most avidly what it later finds is so very different from what would be good to have. But then things turn again, and even the most unconscious patterns reveal their redemptive glory. It all depends on where you are along the spectrum, the initial expansion, the inevitable contraction to follow, or the tempered and seasoned expansion later. In the middle point, it can be hell, which is where we are now. But things start out so amazingly, and they end up as such a gold mine of experience and self-understanding from all this. Much of life is midstream and involves meeting shadows, enduring reversals, and basically being forced to go absolutely everywhere you never wanted to go. The reason it comes out right in the end is that you move through all of it and discover there is somebody in here who knows how to do that, and who remains unscarred, not even discouraged, and is just waiting for the next opening to take up the earth's schooling in the way that fiery souls invite and welcome, strangely enough. Wow. Yeah, it just blows me away. Yeah, it makes me feel emotional. That has very much been my journey on Supercharge since Red Moon 2006, coming in to get me into alignment with what I came here for at this time, which in 2007 I started learning emotional freedom technique and lots of other modalities as well. And then coming to Glastonbury in 2011, I learned astrology and the Mayan calendar and made my connection. And this week I've been really mapping loads of code. I started a new moon circle for women, and just before that, because my moon is in Taurus, I went through my past 10-year cycle and I started mapping all that new moon and full moon in Taurus, coding energy, the degree, and how it was impacting on me and my bigger picture on an even deeper level. So this stuff is limitless and ever expanding, and Jupiter going into Pisces is critical to this now because it's really getting us in alignment with our spiritual assignments, of our mission impossible, of why we've come here to do this work and to turn everything on its head. So women of my age and in around their 50s are here to turn the world on its head, to turn the thinking upside down, to remember who we really are, and to release all of these spell bindings that have shut us down for so long, thousands of years, because of things that have happened in history. Now is the time to remember our magic and our gifts and really start to work with those. So today is a really magical day for tuning in to how you felt disempowered over the past 11 days. Just use that micro, because once you start really working in this way, it will reveal the thread, the golden thread, where you need to start to heal your heart and to come into that bigger picture awareness of how all of these keep repeating, going round and round in circles, and how we can get off that merry-go-round by doing the inner work and healing our heart. So the cards today again reflect this, and we have Lilith and sexuality. Free women from repression, guard and guide our spirit of wisdom, our sexual energy, and our womanly essence. And this totally ties in with this card, which again, if you haven't checked these out yet, Thoth, amazing cards, okay, because they have so much astrology. They're huge. And they're magic as well. So here's a book that ties in with these. I'm not going to go into any great depth, just go and check these out for yourself if they call to you. These are taking us to a whole different level. And so this is magically card 11. The more that you get clear on the inside, you'll start to see everything will just start to line up. And you will see the universe change to match your inner picture. You will see the reflections on the outside will start to change because you're changing, you're doing the lessons, you're meeting your challenges, you're having the courage to face your fear, to go into the demons, slay the dragon. All of these things that you chose before you came into this life in order to evolve the human being storyline. You chose your storyline, you chose the family that you came into, And the very purpose for this was for you to become an expert on that story. And most of those stories are around disempowerment, they're around fear, they're around feeling lost, feeling disconnected, because everything that's been running on the planet for thousands of years has been hugely, can't get my words out today, hugely damaging emotionally, physically, for human beings. That's just the way it is. The more that we start to recognize that, stop trying to put a brave face on, stop trying to wear rose tinted glasses, come into a reality check, learn tools like EFT that are empowering, help us to heal, help us to go through this codependent process and come out the other side. If you don't know a lot about codependency, start to check it out. It's a huge subject. Basically, it means being out of balance in relationship in some way. Lots of different ways for that to happen. It's a fundamental structure around the moon goddess, around Ixchel, around coming into self-empowerment. It's about being brave enough to learn about ourselves, what we've done, what our choices have been, what that's created, how we've developed coping mechanisms, our ego, again going back to the Leo moon there, and this card in particular, how to start to free ourselves from living in this way, and to have the courage to do that. So I'm going to just read for you again. I'll put a link below for this. All of this work takes time. You know, this isn't going to happen overnight. The sooner we begin, the sooner we start to get free. Okay, so this card is known as Lust. So much on a deep esoteric level about this. So I'm just looking through to pick out, to cherry pick some points, but the link will be there. This is elitarotstrikingly.com. The amount of work he puts into these articles is amazing. Basically, this age that we're going into, if you look at the bigger eons of time astrologically, is we are now leaving the age of Pisces and we're going into the age of Aquarius. And so once you start to learn about astrology, you realize that there are twin partners in each zodiac sign. So when we're saying we're going into the age of Aquarius, which is being fair, just for all on one level, individuation, knowing who we are. It's also about being solution focused, letting go of victimhood, letting go of being like a child, coming into taking responsibility for ourselves. And we do all of that by becoming emotionally free, emotionally intelligent, and rational more and more. So we become clear of our past emotional storyline. And again, this is what emotional freedom technique does. It clears the amygdala, the fight, flight, and freeze response. And understanding of this is crucial and critical for people to understand what is going on right now. So most people are not making critical thinking choices. They're being persuaded by fear, by their emotional mind. So they're not being rational. To understand this is absolutely pivotal for any human being who's wanting to make this change. So we don't become emotionally clear by repressing our emotions and that's a narcissist. Okay, so they still have all the emotions and they still have all of that going on. Now, I use the term narcissist as in somebody who has no empathy for anybody else, somebody who's behaving in a very childlike way and not caring about the greater good of other people, only focused on themselves. So in psychological terms, you may take that to another degree and say that's a psychopathic view. You may take the view it's a sociopath. Again, it's a big subject matter to go into. And it's key that people really understand this stuff now to understand the mindset controls that are going on the planet. Very important to do due diligence here and understand how this works, because this is absolutely crucial for self-empowerment and letting go of these old patterns. So when we heal, when we become emotionally free, we then start to be authentic around who we are and our emotions. And we don't carry the pain parcel on, so we don't project our emotions onto other people. We don't need to do the drama. We just start a process of healing ourselves and then learning how to relate to others in a different way. So we become assertive, empowered, in our power, and we stay in our center whenever there's drama going on around us. So again, it's great to come into that place at this time. We're in a blue storm year, blue lunar storm. So you've probably become very aware of other people's storms, your storms, and you've probably become very aware of what your triggers are. And this is how you work with them to go deeper, because what seems to be the problem is a solution. This is magic, this is alchemy, and this is what the age of Aquarius and this card is all about. So Leo, coming into your heart, healing your heart, feeling your feelings, letting your feelings guide you rather than being overruled by your man-made head, as in your conditioned mindset. Okay, so it goes into lots of detail around that. In terms of things that you might see in England, for example, this is about the lion and the unicorn, which is Aquarius energy. This is a foretelling of George and the dragon. You know, this is the shift. This is about knowing that the dragon is a combination of animals, is a chimera, is the phoenix on one level. So really, really magical energy. And he talks about this here as well. So remember, in the Mayan, we've got red dragon and we've got red serpent. And again, in all truth telling frameworks, in all healing frameworks, there will be these aspects there. And the moon, again, is talked about in this card. So this is around our wounding with Leo as a child. It's how we have learned how to do emotions in our family, for example. Maybe we weren't allowed to express our emotions. Maybe we had to be the good girl. We had to be the one that never expressed anger, was never the discontented fairy heiress asteroid. So again, remembering that the moon goddess is all about the asteroids as well. So this card represents the will of the eon, and that we're now going into this new age of Horus, and we're becoming free from these old patterns. It's time for us to invoke the sun god in ourselves. And remember, with the Mayan, this is about connecting to the galactic sun, which is beaming out this universal code of a shift in consciousness. So it's really working with this template that we have created for ourselves, and anything getting in the way of us being love, remembering that we are love, we're loved. There's no difference in equality with each human being, no matter how much people believe that there is, because somebody's got more money, or they were born into royalty, etc., etc. Each human being is equal in the eyes of the universe and is essential to this process that is going on now. So doing this process of Leo enables us to come into a whole different space on the inside. We become stronger, we have faith in ourselves, we start to heal anything where we felt out of alignment with being our full essence. So where we've played small in the past. When this card is thrown during a reading, it means in the next 11 weeks or months, passion, awareness, aliveness, and strength to overcome. Expressing full creative abilities, having a strong trust in these abilities, courage, self-esteem, the inner passion of will to be, magical helpers arriving, knowing from your heart what is needed, loving passion, receiving the strength to overcome, following one's inner light, doing what their heart of heart self is right, and the strength of passion in higher nature, power, courage, energy, action, the law of self-domination, self-rule, and self-control. What we're seeing at the moment on the planet of the people in power is they're not in this space at all. They haven't done this work. Back to the Oracle card, which is Yellow Warrior, which is coming up on the last day, Yellow Cosmic Warrior. What we're seeing in this is what needs to shift so we can be the Heart Warrior. So we can trust the process, trust the divine, trust all the reasons that we're here. The more we clear the old story and the more that we get that inner strength, even though other people around us may be naysayers, if you've got a dream now to create a business, for example, because this very much is linked into the Taurus energy as well. So if you've got a reason to create something completely off on a tangent that you are being told it's not possible, it's not feasible, remember, all these naysayers around you are a reflection of somebody in your past that still you haven't cleared that yet around your self-belief. What you're passionate about, what you've always been passionate about, what keeps showing up for you around, get your groove on with this. This is what this time is about. It's having the self-belief that even though you may not know the answers yet, you're going to know the answers. When I started work with the Mayan calendar, I really resisted it to begin with because it was so complex. It was a language I didn't understand. I thought I had a plan around what I was going to do. I thought I was going to be able to navigate my path in a way that was controlled. And to some extent I did. And never in my wildest dreams did I see where I am now. Because of course we don't. As we're veiled, we only see what we're meant to see. We might be able to tune in at times, we might have dreams, we might have flashes of inspiration that say, this is possible. But on a lower mindset level, we might not be able to put a tangible blueprint or plan in there because it's not yet evident to us, because we're still running the old mindset. And so we're still producing things from that mindset. We're still doing that. And so it's about tuning in as much as possible to your dream, how you want your future to be. Imagine where you're going to be 12 months from now in this energy again. What are you going to have created? What are you going to be living on a day-to-day basis from your heart, surrounded by lovely things, lovely people, in whatever way that is? I don't necessarily mean it has to be, materialistic. It might be you're living in a field, in an amazing field back in nature, and that you're happy and that you've got all your physical needs met in a far healthier way than you had before. We're having to make shifts on the planet around what can be sustained by other sentient beings, around Gaia, around the goddess that we live on. So each one of us has to start making a shift in some way towards things that are sustainable for everyone, this age of Aquarius that's coming in. And even though nobody may show up for your workshops, believe me, I've done workshops for one person over 10 years. I've gone here, there, all over the place to meet that person who was ready to hear that framework that I was sharing. Keep the faith, build it, they will come. Start doing it now in whatever way you can, a little step at a time, and trust the process. If we don't start building the process, how is it going to be manifest in the future? If we don't start healing ourselves, how are we going to be experiencing this amazing reality? Because the same scenario is still going to be showing up on the outside because we ain't changed the inside. That's the most important step. At the moment, most of my focus is on working with women, because that's what I know about, because I am a woman, and I choose to work with women who are a reflection of me, of course. And so if you're a woman, and particularly if you're a mature woman, so if you are around the age of 50 plus, then you'll be in a whole different dynamic than somebody who's 20 plus. And so that's why I work with people of my own age wherever possible, because we share the same dynamic and we share the same patterns, and that's the magic of the synchronicity. So if you're looking to start to learn about these codes, or you're looking to go deeper and you want to really start to work with using this amazing energy and these tools in a practical, grounded way, so you can create the life that you want to live, I have a monthly group which meets with a new moon on Zoom, so you can take part wherever you are in the world. And I also have a 52-day process that the next one is starting on the 20th when we go into Gemini. So if you'd like to know more, please do fill in the contact form at the bottom of this video, and I can send you info, or we can have a chat about how this can work for you. The more people that come together at this time to support each other, around our individual issues and how we can enlighten each other with different perspectives, different solutions as well. Have fun, cheer each other on, and keep going through this transformation process. That's the essence of revealing the starseed. So lots of love to you today. Hope you've had an amazing shift up to now with your Akashic record, with your rewiring of your story up to now. And we've still got a couple of days to go. So there's still time to make some really big realignments to new doorways opening up and to create this new earth. See you soon.